The egg was taller than the boy. It hummed beneath the desert sun, slow, deep, alive. And when his hand touched its cracked surface, the sky above the desert blinked, as if something far away had just noticed him. Everyone in Dustfall knew the desert was empty. That was the lie adults told children so they wouldn't wander too far, chasing mirages or old war junk buried beneath the sand. Nothing lived beyond the last rusted water tower. Nothing survived the heat. Nothing waited out there. Eli Carter knew better. At 13, he had already learned that the desert hid secret-souled machines, shattered drones, bones of things no one talked about anymore. That was why he walked farther than he should have that morning, boots sinking into pale sand as the sun climbed higher. He was searching for scrap. What he found instead made him stop breathing. Half buried between two dunes was something smooth and curved, dark as obsidian but streaked with veins of dull silver. It wasn't metal, it wasn't stone. The surface shimmered faintly as if heat waves were trapped beneath it. Eli approached slowly. "Hello," he called, feeling stupid the moment the word left his mouth. The object was enormous, easily 3 meters tall, shaped like an egg pressed into the sand by a giant hand. Wind had uncovered part of it overnight, peeling away layers of dune like a curtain. Eli circled it, heart pounding. No seams, no markings, no signs of human manufacture. Then he heard it, a sound not loud, but felt, a low rhythmic vibration that traveled up through his boots, into his legs, into his chest. Thump, pause, thump, like a heartbeat. Eli swallowed. "This isn't real," he whispered. He reached out. The moment his fingers touched the surface, warmth bloomed beneath his skin, not burning, not painful, familiar, comforting. The egg pulsed. A thin crack spidered across its surface, glowing faintly blue from within. Eli stumbled back, panic flaring. Hey, I didn't mean to." The desert wind died, completely. The air went still, heavy, as if the world itself was holding its breath. Above him, the cloudless sky shimmered, and for half a second, Eli could have sworn it blinked, like an eye opening and closing far too large to understand. Something deep inside the egg answered him, not with words, with emotion, loneliness, confusion, fear. Eli pressed his palm back against the shell instinctively. "It's okay," he said, voice shaking. "I'm here." The glow steadied. From the crack, a soft chime echoed, musical, alien, nothing like any machine Eli had ever heard. Symbols flickered briefly across the egg's surface, rearranging themselves as if searching for a language. Far away, beyond the horizon, a satellite adjusted its orbit, a warning signal ancient and dormant react, and somewhere not on Earth, something vast and old turned its attention toward a small desert town, and the human boy who had just made first contact. Eli had no idea what the egg was, but he knew one thing with absolute certainty. He wasn't supposed to be the one who found it. Eli didn't run. Every instinct told him to sprint back toward Dustfall, to put as much sand and distance between himself and the impossible thing in the desert. But his hand was still pressed to the egg, and the warmth beneath his palm felt afraid. He had never felt fear like that before, not sharp, not panicked, small, like something that didn't understand where it was or why it was alone. "I won't hurt you," Eli said softly. "I swear." The egg pulsed again, the blue glow beneath its shell brightening just enough to paint the sand with soft light. The vibration changed. The rhythm no longer frantic, but cautious, curious. A sound emerged higher this time, almost like a question. Eli smiled despite himself. "Yeah," he said, nodding. "I hear you." The desert answered back with silence. Eli finally pulled his hand away, heart racing as the glow dimmed slightly, like the egg was disappointed. He hesitated, then shrugged off his pack and sat cross-legged in the sand. "I'm Eli," he said. "I live over there." He pointed toward the faint outline of Dustfall, heat waves warping the horizon. The egg chimed again. Symbols rippled across its surface, patterns Eli couldn't read but somehow felt. The shapes shifted, rearranged, then settled. A new sound followed Eli. Eli's breath caught. "That's my name," he whispered. The egg pulsed once, strong and certain. Eli laughed nervously. "You're not from around here, are you?" The response wasn't a sound this time, it was an image. The world tilted as something brushed his mind, not forcibly, but gently. For a split second, Eli saw stars. Not like pictures, not like telescopes, endless, deep, alive, then darkness, impact, heat, sand. The image faded, leaving Eli gasping. "You fell," he said. "You crashed here." The egg hummed low, confirming. A shadow passed overhead. Eli looked up just in time to see a long-range patrol drone cutting across the sky, its sensors sweeping the desert. He froze. They must have detected the energy surge. If the authority found this thing, they'd tear it apart, study it, weaponize it. That's what they always did. Eli stood quickly, panic rising. You can't stay here, they'll find you. The egg pulsed faster. Another crack formed, small, but visible. Light spilled out, brighter now, warming the sand around it. Eli felt the heat on his face. Not burning, but urgent. Wait, don't hatch, he said. Not yet. The egg stilled. Eli exhaled shakily. Listen, he said, thinking fast. There's an old storm bunker near the black rocks buried, shielded. The drones won't see you there. The egg vibrated uncertainly. I'll help you, Eli promised. I don't know how yet, but I will. The symbols on the egg rearranged again, faster this time, like it was learning, adapting. Then, slowly, the egg tilted, just a little. Sand slid away from its base. Eli stared. You can move, the egg hummed almost shy. Footsteps of engines echoed faintly in the distance. Eli grabbed his pack and pressed both hands against the warm shell. Okay, he said, we're moving. And if anyone asks, he paused, then smiled. This is just a rock, the egg chimed softly. Somewhere in the sky. The patrol drone adjusted its course, just barely missing the energy signature fading beneath the dunes. They reached the black rocks by dusk. The sun bled orange across the desert, shadows stretching long and thin as Eli pushed, guided, and occasionally begged the egg to move faster. Each time he spoke, the egg responded more quickly, its vibrations adjusting, learning the rhythm of his voice. By the time they reached the half-buried storm bunker, the egg no longer hesitated. The bunker's steel hatch was rusted nearly shut, but Eli knew the trick hit the right spot. Twist, cursed loudly. The hatch groaned open, spilling cool darkness out into the heat. Here, Eli said, breathless. You'll be safe. The egg pulsed, then cracked. Eli froze. The crack spread like lightning across the shell, blue-white light pouring out. The bunker walls hummed, ancient instruments flickering back to life under the alien energy. Wait, Eli said, backing up. The shell split, but no claws burst forth, no fangs, no screaming horror. Instead, something small pushed through, a limb smooth, translucent, glowing softly from within. Then a head, large-eyed and delicate, its skin shimmering like moonlight through water. The creature tumbled awkwardly onto the sand. It was no bigger than a large dog. Eli stared. That's it. The hatchling blinked at him with eyes like liquid stars. Its body was sleek and unfamiliar, but not threatening. Thin fronds along its back fluttered as it breathed, emitting soft pulses of light that matched the rhythm of its heart. It looked at Eli and chirped. Eli's knees went weak. You remember, he whispered. The broken shell behind it dissolved not into fragments, but into glowing dust that drifted upward and vanished, as if the egg had never been there at all. The hatchling wobbled, then collapsed sideways. Oh hey, Eli rushed forward. Easy, you just hatched. He reached out, hesitating for only a moment before touching its side. Warm, alive, exhausted. A rush of emotion flooded him, not fear, not confusion, relief. The hatchling pressed closer, curling against him instinctively. It's okay, Eli murmured. You're safe now. The bunker lights brightened suddenly. A projection shimmered into existence above the hatchling, a rotating star map filled with unfamiliar constellations. One star pulsed brighter than the rest, far beyond anything humans had ever reached. A message unfolded in shifting symbols. Eli didn't understand the language, but he understood the meaning. Protector required. Bond established. Eli swallowed hard. You chose me, he said. The hatchling's fronds pulsed once, yes. Outside, the desert wind picked up again, and far above the planet, a dormant beacon finished rebooting its signal, racing across space, carrying one simple truth. The air had survived. Eli didn't sleep. He sat against the bunker wall, knees pulled to his chest, watching the hatchling breathe. Its body glowed faintly with every inhale, casting slow-moving patterns of light across the concrete ceiling. The glow wasn't random, it shifted in deliberate rhythms, like language written in color. Outside, the desert wind howled. Inside, something ancient had finally stopped running. The star map projection faded after a few minutes, but Eli felt its meaning linger in the air like gravity. Air, he whispered, your royalty. The hatchling stirred at the sound of his voice. One large eye opened, focusing on him with startling clarity. A thin limb reached out and wrapped gently around his wrist, not gripping, just anchoring. Warmth flowed into him again. This time, it brought understanding, not words. History. A vast civilization among the stars. Peaceful, patient, old beyond measure. A species that grew slowly, bonded deeply, and never abandoned its young. The hatchling was not just a child. It was the last. A catastrophe. A betrayal. A planet burning under weapons that didn't belong to it. An escape capsule launched in desperation. An egg meant to hide, to sleep, to wait until a protector was found. Eli's throat tightened. They killed your family, he said quietly. The hatchling's glow dimmed. Outside the bunker, the ground trembled, subtle, distant, but unmistakable. Eli stood abruptly. No, he whispered, that's not a storm. He rushed to the bunker's cracked sensor panel and wiped dust from the screen. The display flickered to life, feeding him a grainy orbital view. 3 ships, descending fast. Not Authority patrols. Bigger, sleeker, not human design. Eli's blood ran cold. They followed the beacon, he realized. They found you. The hatchling sat up, fronds flaring instinctively, light brightening in alarm. The bunker walls hummed again, reacting to its presence. They're not here to help, Eli said, forcing calm into his voice, are they? The images in his mind answered before the hatchling could. Hunters. The ones who destroyed its world. The beacon wasn't just a distress call, it was a challenge. Eli backed away from the panel, heart racing. We have to move. Now the hatchling tilted its head, then looked at the bunker ceiling, at the sky. It made a soft, questioning sound. Eli followed its gaze, and understood. You're saying they can't take you, he said slowly. Not if you choose. Something else. The hatchling stepped toward him, placing both limbs on his chest. The contact was stronger this time, the connection deeper. Images flooded him again. A bond that could grow. A protector that could change. A choice that could hide the air, or reveal it. You need me, Eli said. The hatchling pulsed once. Yes. Footsteps echoed above them, heavy, metallic, alien. Eli clenched his fists, fear and resolve twisting together in his chest. Okay, he said. Then listen to me. He knelt in front of the alien child who had crossed the stars alone. If they want you, Eli said, voice steady, they'll have to go through Earth. The hatchling's glow flared brighter than ever before. Above the bunker, the first alien ship touched down, its hull slicing the desert wind into silence. And somewhere deep within the hatchling, something ancient began to wake. The bunker shook as the first blast hit the surface. Not an explosion controlled, precise, the kind meant to open doors, not destroy what lay beneath. Eli grabbed the hatchling instinctively. Stay close, he whispered, even as fear crawled up his spine. He was a boy with no weapons, no armor, no plan standing between an alien child and the monsters that had already erased an entire world. The hatchling didn't hide. It stood upright, fronds along its back flaring wide as its glow intensified. The light spilled across the bunker walls, flooding old circuits with power they were never meant to hold. The ceiling groaned. Easy, easy, Eli said, though he wasn't sure who he was calming anymore. You don't have to fight. The hatchling turned its head toward him. Images surged into Eli's mind again, but this time, they weren't memories. They were possibilities. A protector did not have to be strong. It had to be willing. The hatchling pressed its forehead gently against Eli's chest. The world lurched. Eli screamed as heat tore through his veins, not burning, but reshaping. Symbols he had seen on the egg now bloomed across his skin in faint lines of light. His heartbeat synchronized with the hatchling's, fast and steady. Above them, the bunker hatch was ripped open. Alien figures descended tall, angular, wrapped in dark armor that swallowed the light. Their eyes burned with cold intelligence. Target confirmed, one of them hissed. Secure the air. Eli stepped forward. The aliens froze. They saw him now not as prey, not as irrelevant. Something had changed. You're not taking them, Eli said. His voice echoed strangely, layered with a resonance that wasn't entirely his own. The hatchling stood beside him, small but radiant. The bunker walls cracked, not from weapons but from pressure. The desert above responded. Sand lifted into the air, swirling into vast spirals. The ground hardened beneath Eli's feet, ancient minerals aligning, awakening. Earth itself reacted to the bond, unsure but listening. The alien leader raised its weapon. You are not the protector, it snarled. You are weak. Eli's hands trembled. Yeah, he said. I am. He looked down at the hatchling, feeling its fear but also its trust. But I'm not alone. The hatchling cried out, not in anger, but in command. Light exploded outward. The aliens were thrown back, slammed into the bunker walls as gravity twisted violently around them. Their weapons clattered uselessly to the ground. The ships above faltered, systems screaming as unfamiliar energy interfered with their drives. Eli dropped to one knee, gasping. The power was too much. He could feel it burning through him, shortening something years, maybe more. The hatchling pressed against him, desperate. No, not like this. Eli smiled weakly. It's okay, he whispered. If protecting you costs me, that's fine. The hatchling's glow pulsed violently, then shifted. The energy withdrew. The bunker fell silent except for Eli's ragged breathing. The aliens lay unconscious. Above, the ships retreated, confused, damaged, afraid. Eli collapsed fully onto the sand. The hatchling curled against him, trembling. "You learned something," Eli murmured, "didn't you?" The hatchling's light softened. Yes, protection did not mean sacrifice. It meant survival together. Far above Earth, the beacon changed its signal, not a challenge, a warning. The desert was quiet again. Not the empty quiet Eli had grown up with, but something deeper, heavier. As if the land itself was listening now, waiting to see what would happen next. Eli woke to warmth. Not the harsh heat of the sun, but a steady, living warmth pressed against his side. The hatchling was curled beside him, its fronds dim, its breathing slow and even alive. Safe. He laughed softly, then winced as his body protested. Every muscle ached. Faint lines of light still traced his arms and chest, fading slowly like after images burned into the air. "You really did a number on me," he murmured. The hatchling opened one eye, it chirped. Eli smiled. "Yeah, me too." They didn't stay in the bunker. By the time authority vehicles arrived drawn by confused signals and retreating alien ships, the desert showed no sign of a battle. No wreckage, no beacon, just sand and wind, and a boy walking back toward Dustfall with something strange and quiet at his side. The reports were dismissed as sensor ghosts. That's what humans always did with things they weren't ready to understand. The hatchling grew, slowly at first, then faster. Its body became more solid, its glow less constant but stronger when it mattered. It learned Earth sounds, Earth skies, Earth silence. It learned Eli's laughter, his fear, his stubborn hope. It learned what it meant to belong. Eli changed her. The bond never fully left him. Sometimes, when he stood barefoot on the sand, he could feel the planet hum faintly beneath his feet as if Earth itself had noticed the choice he made. Years passed. The alien hunters never returned, because the beacon no longer said, "Here I am." It said something else. "The air is protected. This world is not defenseless." When the hatchling was older, taller than Eli now, its glow controlled and deliberate, it asked a question without words. "Why did you choose me?" Eli thought about it for a long time. Then he answered honestly. "Because you were alone," he said. "And because someone once taught me that choosing to protect one life can change everything." High above the desert, satellites glided silently. Beyond them, the stars watched. Earth was still small, still fragile, but it was no longer invisible.